Before getting started, a quick warning that this video will contain spoilers up to the end of episode 2. We start out in London where Steve and his stepson Matt are enjoying a spring break abroad when out of the blue a trash bag comes hurtling down from space. Matt saves Steve, calling him dad in the process. We then see the aftermath of Omni-man's brawl with the Guardians of the Globe. Blood, limbs, and sinew lay about the scene alongside the unconscious form of Omni-man. The Global Defense Agency, or GDA for short, arrives on the scene to clean up the mess and try to save the Guardians. They also cart off Omni-man, assuming him to be one of the victims. The GDA shows up at the Graysons' doorstep to inform Mark and Debbie about Omni-man's condition. We then get some background on the GDA. They're a secret government organization that operates in the shadows, working with superheroes like Omni-man to keep the world safe. Omni-man is unconscious but seems to be in stable condition. Cecil Stedman introduces himself to Mark and Debbie. He's the director of the GDA. He assures the Graysons that he and the entire GDA are doing everything in their power to find out who is responsible for Omni-man's hospitalization, as well as the death of the Guardians of the Globe. Mark overhears that an attack is taking place in the downtown part of the city. Arriving on the scene, Invincible sees a giant portal from another dimension, letting forth a battalion of invading aliens called the Flaxans. Invincible tries to get a grip on the situation but is overwhelmed by the sight of death and destruction. He fails to save a bunch of civilians, makes a nemesis out of one of the foot soldier Flaxans, and is about to be annihilated by a tank blast when a team of supers arrives to lend a hand. They're known as Teen Team. From left to right we have Duplicate, Rex-splode, Robot, and Atom Eve. The new team serves as a great distraction as Invincible evacuates an injured civilian. However, the Flaxans appear to be more than Teen Team can handle. Suddenly, the Flaxans begin to wither and die en masse, leading to a full-scale retreat back through their portal. Invincible manages to deliver his charge to receive medical care, but her injuries are severe. Mark comes to grips with the harsh reality of hero work. At school, Mark speaks about his father's attack with William and how he's in the hospital. We also learn that at some point, William was also the victim of a violent crime. Mark then realizes that Atom Eve is actually one of his classmates, Eve Wilkins, and they head off to talk about the fight. We learn that Teen Team is everyone's fourth favorite superhero team, just ahead of Fight Force, which apparently is the joke hero team of this world. Learning that this was Mark's first true fight where civilian lives were on the line, Eve offers some advice and words of encouragement, cheering up Mark considerably. Eve then invites him to go meet Teen Team after school. Cecil and Robot are investigating the invasion site. 338 people were killed. Observations of the Flaxan tanks rusting confirms Robot's suspicions that time passes faster on the Flaxan's homeworld than it does on Earth, so they fled because they were dying of old age. Cecil teleports to the Guardians of the Globe murder scene. It appears that whoever committed the crime cut the power and the backup and disabled all security systems, leaving minimal evidence behind. A new character arrives on the scene, Damien Darkblood, the demon detective. Though uncanny, he does have a knack for solving crimes. Amber approaches Mark, showing some interest in him for taking a few punches on her behalf. He brushes it off like it was no big deal and then heads out with Eve for a visit to Teen Team HQ. Meeting the team, Mark gets a public display of affection between Eve and Rex. Rex is kind of a jerk, Duplicate is more modest, and Robot is polite and cordial. Robot has engineered a device that can detect and alert the team to future Flaxan attacks, and Invincible is asked to help with future emergencies, to which he agrees. Mark speaks with his mother, then goes to check on Maya, the civilian he rescued during the Flaxan attack. Mark is talking with William at school when both he and Eve are alerted to another Flaxan invasion. After the pair leaves, Amber asks William if Mark and Eve are dating. William informs her that they aren't and gives her Mark's contact info. The Flaxans return, and this time it seems that the foot soldier that Mark made a rival out of is now in a commanding role. Although it's been only 3 days on Earth since the last attack, it's been decades for the Flaxans, and in that time they've devised a solution to the aging problem on Earth. Teen Team puts up a good fight, but they are eventually overwhelmed. Invincible is restrained by some form of cementing material. Seeing his nemesis about to execute Eve stirs a type of primal rage in Invincible, and he bursts free, beating the pulp out of the Commander Flaxan and saving Eve. A wristband device on the commanding Flaxan short circuits and he quickly begins to age. Knowing their weakness, Robot is quickly able to develop a countermeasure, releasing a sonic pulse that targets and destroys the devices across the entire invasion force, resulting in their retreat. Mark's dad finally wakes from his coma and is ready to head home. We also learned that Invincible's rescued civilian Maya has unfortunately passed away. Omni-Man demands to have his suit returned before leaving the facility. Meanwhile, news media outlets begin to notice and comment on the Guardian's absence. Mark's training with his father is interrupted by a call from Cecil to handle an alien threat approaching Earth. The request was made to Omni-Man, but because he's still recovering, Mark offers to go instead. The alien threat has a cycloptic appearance and proves to be the superior fighter. Crashing to the moon, Invincible manages to call a timeout without even realizing that was something he could do. The whole situation turns out to be a misunderstanding, as Alan the alien was supposed to be carrying out a galactic evaluation of a planet for being protected from invaders, but the planet he was supposed to be evaluating was Urath, not Earth. They exchange some pleasantries as well as their names, and Alan mentions that Invincible seems a bit optimistic. Then we see Cecil questioning Omni-Man about what happened at the Guardians HQ. Omni-Man's tale is that he got a distress call from the Guardians. When he arrived, everything seemed fine, then the lights went out and someone attacked him. He fought with them until passing out and woke up in the hospital. At school, Todd talks to Mark on Amber's behalf, giving him her phone number and apologizing for his behavior. A third Flaxan invasion force attacks downtown in the exact same location. This time they seem to be more prepared than ever before. Invincible's rival now seems to be a general of sorts and is sporting his own mech suit. Robot suggests that the only sensible course of action is to nuke the city, to which Teen Team balks, countering that they aren't Fight Force and aren't going to give up. However, the Flaxans appear to be far too capable, as the mech general proceeds to beat the daylights out of Invincible. Just before certain death, Mark is saved by his father, Omni-Man, who proceeds to decimate the invading forces. They begin to retreat again, but Omni-Man isn't content with letting their repeated attacks go unchecked or unpunished. He tackles the Flaxan general and the two hurtle through the portal. Yelling "Dad," Mark unintentionally informs all of the teen team that his father is Omni-Man, to which they share a moment of shock. While Mark is worried for his dad, Debbie doesn't seem fazed, summing up his dad battling aliens in another dimension as just another day of the week. She says, "I'm sure he's explaining nicely why they should leave us alone." This is in sharp contrast to what Omni-Man is actually doing. Showing up on the Flaxan's home planet, Omni-Man states, "You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer." He literally grinds the Flaxan general into a bloody pulp and then proceeds to bring an Armageddon level of destruction down upon the Flaxan planet, ensuring the Flaxans will never try to invade Earth again, more likely to die off altogether. Omni-Man arrives home in time to see the news report. The Guardians of the Globe are dead and the word is out to the public. Damien Darkblood pays a visit to Cecil and shares his findings. No one at the scene of the crime but Omni-Man and the Guardians, meaning one of them was the killer. It's pretty obvious which one Damien suspects. Cecil makes it clear that Damien is not to bring up his findings with anyone else, then tells Donald, his right-hand man, to get a surveillance team on the Graysons, and that is the end of this episode. I want to give this episode a 9 or 10 out of 10 because it has some great action with Teen Team and the Flaxan invasion, made for some really great fights, especially when Omni-Man finally showed up to wipe them all out. If you want to be notified for videos on future episodes, be sure to subscribe. You're also helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.